Hola, mi amigos, and welcome to the Sir Gladiator Show. On this edition of the Sir Gladiator Show, your friend and mine will be reviewing episode 2 of season 4 of the hit TV show Lost Girl. Um, just like when I reviewed the premiere, I have my notes here because once again there was a lot, and I mean a lot, uh, of stuff going on, and it's so easy to forget something, uh, even a fair bit of something, because boy, there's a lot. They pack a lot into a 1 hour show. They do a great job of that, and it was a great show. Highly recommended episode. Just want to start off by saying this was another great episode on top of the premiere, which was also great. Um, and again, it's surprising because you have so little of your main star. You actually did have some, at least, right, in this episode of Bo. Still no regular Tamsin. We had younger Tamsin, and that's where I'd like to begin my review. We got Tamsin back this week in the second episode, and it is not yet the regular adult version. It is a couple of younger versions of Tamsin we got in this episode, starting with a much younger Tamsin. I know that we all knew or had heard about the teenage Tamsin, but we had one even younger to start the show, and who was around for I guess most of the episode before the teenage Tamsin made her appearance closer toward the end. So that was great. Tamsin, the younger Tamsin, was found by Dyson at the crash site and brought back to Bo and Kenzi's place, where indeed hilarity ensued, in a number of ways. Kenzi babysitting the younger Tamsin. It was a lot of fun, especially she did a thing where she like put on a magic show, because Kenzi has those fake Fae powers, that kind of looks like I don't know what you would call it, like a magic show, Anyway, sparkly. I want to use the right word, but I don't know what word I'm looking for. But if you saw it, that's cool. And if you haven't seen it, see it. All right. Anyway, while that was going on, Dyson was out on his hunt for Bo. Ironically, it was only the younger Tamsin who really knew or guessed or instinctively knew, or who knows really, right? But she's the only one that was able to really figure out what was going on with Bo, where Bo was, more or less anyway. Because she was sort of on a different dimension or something like that. And she was on what they referred to as I believe, as a death train. Or she was on that train, and anyway, I don't want to get too far ahead, but yes, she was on a train where presumably the Wonder was as well. We did not see him, of course, but he seemed to be referenced at one point by someone who looked like a maid. I want to get into that also in a little bit. But so he's out there, and he's spending most of his time looking for, and then he finds this dude who really was sort of like a Will Ferrell wannabe. Only I'd like to recommend that if you watch this episode of Lost Girl, that you do not watch anything regarding Will Ferrell for as long as possible before you've watched this episode, because the less that you remember how good Will Ferrell is, the more you will enjoy this, Dyson's guide in this episode, whose name was Eddie, I believe. He really was. I mean, it was like watching, somebody try to, do like a version of Anchorman. You know, um, not nearly as well. It's like he had his moments. There was some humor there. Because he had his moments, but if I saw some Will Ferrell stuff recently, and it reminded me of just how very much better he is than what this guy was doing. And and I do want to say that if you are watching, if the fellow who did this is watching, I apologize, but I just have to be honest here. It was a good try, and you had your moments, but keep working on it. Keep working on it, buddy. Maybe one day you'll get there. But this, if you're going to enjoy this guy, you got to keep in mind, poor man's Will Ferrell. Very poor man's Will Ferrell. But he was funny at times, because he reminded you of Will Ferrell. And of course, Anchorman, and that stuff's hilarious. So just being reminded of that hilarious stuff, was entertaining. And so he did a good job in that regard. So I don't want to be negative. I want to be positive, and that is positive. Okay. On another front, Lauren continues hiding from the Fae in plain sight. Right. So she's working as a waitress. She's hiding from the Fae, but she's all right because she's wearing a wig. Oh, and she changed her name. She has a name tag. It says Amber, which is also like, her. She also has this redheaded wig, so Amber. So of course, I mean, if you're the Fae, how could you possibly find her? I mean, she's got the wig on and she's got a different name, right? So it's not like they're like really clever or supernaturally powerful and stuff. They're right. So that was a little silly. This disguise is allowing her to work in public. But you would think that, right? I mean, you would think she would be working in like an underground lair with what's left of Taft's men, and they'd be doing the experiments, good experiments, not the bad ones, and that sort of thing would be going on. That's where you'd think she would be, actually hiding. This doesn't really count as hiding when you're working in public. You're out in public all day, every day, and the only thing, hiding your identity is a name tag that has a different name on it and a wig. But anyway, be that as it may, the storyline was fun. So I really, while it's so easy to poke fun at that, the storyline was good, involving Lauren and Crystal, and their, sort of getting closer and sort of moving toward having a relationship. I don't think that that Crystal's going to be around long enough for them to have a relationship, no matter how popular it might be. But like if she were going to be around indefinitely, this would have been a really good start to a relationship, because it was a good, it started out with Lauren was sort of you might say standoffish and maybe a little bit mean to Crystal, or that may be going overboard, but certainly she had to apologize to her for her behavior, so characterize it as you will. So she apologized to her for for her previous behavior earlier in the episode, and Crystal was very forgiving, and they were flirting with her, and and all was good by the end of the episode. They were much closer, let's say, and not to they weren't, like sleeping together or anything, but they were definitely heading in the direction of getting together. So that was good. That was a fun part of the show. But again, the best part of the show, as my notes here remind me, was the Kenzi and young Tamsin stuff, in particular the magic show stuff that I mentioned earlier. There was also a scene with her, like her phone, and it's like it had a video on the phone, and she like kept having to, she being Kenzi, kept having to restart the video for Tamsin, and so she could watch it over and over again. That was funny. Their scenes were great, and that includes their scene with the teenage Tamsin later, when she suddenly aged up. She aged up as a result of taking a nap, apparently. So that was so when she sleeps, she ages up, or at least she did in that case. So that was and she went to, and she was asleep at the end of the episode, which sort of led you to believe that she would be her old self again, as it were, her adult self in the next episode. Now, I don't believe that is the case. This is not a spoiler. I don't have a spoiler. I don't know, but I haven't heard anything one way or the other, for a fact, as a spoiler. All I've heard is speculation, and the speculation, just based on what I've heard from speculation and such, it seems much more likely that the regular adult Tamsin will be returning in episode 4, not episode 3. But again, I don't know, and as I say, time will tell, and so stay tuned, right? Hope for the best. Expect maybe something a little bit less than the very best, which would be episode 3. I think expecting episode 4 seems right. And I mean, I hate to think it'd take longer than that. So, but that's why it seems like right now. But again, not a spoiler. I don't have a spoiler to give on that. I just do not know. Vex was once again in this episode, and I thought he might be less evil now that he had his memory back and whatnot. They might start returning him to normal, but no, he's still evil, or at least moral. I mean, I don't think you could sort of kind of rationalize or justify what he did, because he really only did one thing in this episode, and that was, obviously it was bad. He basically has enlisted Cleo, which is actually the name of the character who is an elemental. She was in the original, the premiere. I mean, episode of this season, not the original episode of the show, but the first episode of this season. She really didn't have much to do, but she had more, I guess, to do in this episode. So he enlisted her, seemingly to kidnap Bo and to bring her to the Una Men's, who were torturing him and were threatening to kill him. And so he offered her in exchange for his life, And so, so you can at least understand why he's doing it. It's not like he's, because like in the original, he just like randomly murders some poor innocent woman for no reason whatsoever. I mean, that was obviously very evil. Obviously, what he's doing here is also evil, but at least he had a reason for doing it. So at least it's, I mean, I don't want to say it's like not bad, because obviously it's still horrible, but Anyway, characterize it as you will. It's horrible. At least it's something that he was motivated to do by something other than he just wanted to be evil, So maybe slightly less bad in that sense, but still very, very bad stuff we're talking about here. Is not to downplay that. I did want to mention, because I even made a note about it, just how very cool Kenzi's powers are, even though they are fake. They're fake, quote unquote, fake powers. I mean, you know, they're still cool. They're very cool. You know, the light show type stuff. You know, sort of like you know, fireworks. Fireworks is the word I was looking for. It took me long enough, right? They're kind of like fireworks, little fireworks coming out of your hands. They're very cool. If you've seen them, you know. And if you haven't, you should. But as I mentioned, they are very, very cool. Okay. I would like to mention what little there was of Bo in this episode, because there was a bit of Bo in this episode, and certainly that should be mentioned, even though there wasn't a whole lot of like really relevant stuff. There was that somehow she apparently still does not have her memory. You would think that since the memory spell was broken at the end of the season opener, that she too would have her memories back. Everyone else does, but she does not. At one point, she mentioned Kenzi, Kenzi's name, and then said something like, "I know that name." So she's like absent-mindedly mentioning the name. So like, I guess on some level her mind has Kenzi's name in it, but she doesn't really know why or who that is. And it's like, okay, but well, why? You know, why does she not remember anyone? And that was not, you know, that question was not answered in this episode. That's a question for the next episode. Hopefully, you know, to answer. She did. I made mention earlier of a maid. They came into her room. There was someone dressed like a maid, so I'm just going to call her a maid. I mean, yeah, I've got nothing else to call her. And she made the maid, M-A-I-D, maid, M-A-D-E, a Valkubus reference by referring to her beautiful eyes, both brown and blue. This obviously was not by coincidence. This was, you know, obviously obviously we do not yet have, you know, Valkubus stuff going on because Bo is on the Wanderer's train and Tamsin is still in the process of returning to adulthood. So we don't have any actual Valkubus stuff, so we have to have something like this. And this was good, cool, fun stuff, right? Have a nice little reference there, sort of a reminder of what has been and hopefully what is to come. Let's see, and so, but the maid didn't really say or do anything important other than that. I guess that was basically her role to remind us of Valkubus. So that's better than nothing, right? But that was pretty much her only role, because I mean, I guess she provided Bo with some energy because Bo took some of her chi to help sustain her as she jumped off the train. That was her final scene of the episode, jumping off the train. And if you haven't seen it, the train, it looked like it was surrounded by nothingness. It was all black. It was all nothing. So she's jumping off the train into nothingness. Who would do that? Why would you do that? She had been working to open the door. There was a door, and she had been working to open it. And the maid actually opened it for her. So, okay, you think she would go through the door. No. Instead, she jumps off the train. It was like, what? You know, this was another, you know, head scratcher. But, you know, there sort of were a number of those, and I don't want to belabor them or anything, you know, because I want to stay positive. But that was a head scratcher. It didn't really make any sense, but, you know, hey, she had to get off the train because it looked like at the end of the episode that Dyson and his new sidekick Cleo, she took over for Eddie, um, were about to get on the train, right? And it would have been too simple if they were all on the train and then they could just find Bo, and rescue her just like that. That would be too simple, wouldn't it? So they couldn't have that. Anyway, so she's off the train, and they're getting on it apparently. Um, I did mention, I think I mentioned, I only mention it again, that Tamsin, yes, I did. I mentioned that Tamsin ended the episode asleep. She ended it asleep in Bo's bed, and Kenzi was leaving to meet Massimo to get more Fae power stuff. Now, of course, Tamsin sleeping in Bo's bed. I don't know exactly how much I would have to really, what else I would have to say about that. That sort of speaks for itself. It's kind of like the maid's comment. It's sort of seeming, to be foreshadowing, only, she's still teenage Tamsin right now. We don't want to see any more of teenage Tamsin in Bo's bed. We want to see adult Tamsin there, right? There's quite a difference there. It's all well and good for teenage Tamsin to take a nap. That's fine, but adult Tamsin in Bo's bed can be doing something else, much more entertaining than a nap. Once Bo is back, which it looks like she's going to be back, from what near as I can tell. And again, I guess this is not. I don't know if this might be a little bit of a spoiler. It looks like that Bo is going to be rescued in the next episode, and she'll probably. I don't know that she'll actually be back home in the next episode, but I believe that she will be back home in episode number 4, and she could be back home in episode number 3. Now, if adult Tamsin is around, in asleep in Bo's bed in episode 3 or 4, that's going to be a lot more fun, right? That's got a lot more potential. So there's that. So I guess those are the high points. Well, I guess I should also touch on the whole Trick and Aoife thing, because that was one of the things where they left off in it from the premiere, sort of a cliffhanger, because she was very angry at Trick because her memories had come back and everything that he had done to her, and it was mentioned. She was not in this episode. Aoife was not in this episode at all. Trick mentioned that he wounded her. He did not elaborate, but it's obviously very offensive after everything he'd already done to her, the unfathomable stuff that he'd already put her through, and I discussed that in the previous one, and I really don't want to go into that again because it's just so horrible. After everything he's done to her, so now he's physically wounded her himself. It just really makes you not like the guy. It was terrible. And of course, I understand you certainly can make the argument that he's defending himself because she attacked him, but you know why she attacked him, because of everything he's done to her. Doesn't make it. I understand that doesn't make it right, but it certainly makes it understandable. And I don't. And after everything that he did do to her, I don't believe that he had a right to injure her in self-defense. You can use self-defense to protect yourself, but I don't believe he had a moral right to hurt her in the process of defending himself. He needed to, if he wanted to like take the knife away from her or something like that. But that whole thing is horrible, and they didn't even go into it much anyway. I don't, who knows when we'll see her again, or if we'll see her again. Hopefully we will, and hopefully she get some time with Bo. We want to see her and Bo, the mother-daughter reunion, a real reunion, not, when they're in the prison, like at the end of season 3, real good, heartwarming reunions. We want to see. We want to see one or both of them, make Trick, grovel, beg for forgiveness. That's what he should be doing. All right, and so yeah, that's pretty much what we have to look forward to. We have Tamsin back and heading toward adulthood, aging rapidly toward adulthood, and back to normal. And again, once she is adult age and back to being played by Rachel again, she will be much more powerful than she was in season 2. They made reference to in the finale of season 3. She made reference to how much more powerful she used to be, and we'll get to see her with full power. So I mean, keep in mind, she was quite powerful in season 3, even though so much of her powers were gone. And now she's got them back. Imagine how powerful she's going to be. I know that in the preseason show that they did before the start of the season premiere, Anna, the one who plays Bo, mentioned that that Bo and Tamsin were equals, basically, in terms of power. And keep in mind that Bo has been described as the most powerful Fae in the world, and so she and Tamsin are equally powerful. According to Anna herself, saying that that they're equals. So that really tells you. So that means that basically the both of them are. I mean, they both are more powerful than any other Fae. Now, of course, there's the ability to use those powers. That would be a factor. And we know that Bo has been learning about how to use her powers, learning more and more, and she probably still has ways to go yet. And, of course, Tamsin, once she gets her memories back, would probably be able to use her powers better. So she would probably be, or potentially, because obviously it depends on her actually getting those memories back, but assuming she does, she would probably be in a position, particularly this season, to be the most powerful in terms of being able to use them, and should be very helpful, because that sooner or later they're going to have a showdown with those Men's people, the bad guys, the head bad guys, and she would probably stand to, sort of contribute more in a fight even than Bo, because she can better use her powers right now, or by then, you would think. So anyway, if you want a sneak peek of what's going to happen in episode number 3 of season 4, near as I can tell, and they actually put up a promo video, like a 30-second one. They didn't have anything for the first 2 episodes for no apparent reason, but this time they did. And but instead of going into detail and analyzing that, just let me say, I think if you want to know what to expect in general, at least what I'm expecting, I expect Bo to be rescued by Dyson. Now, whether that involves him actually rescuing her from something, or maybe she's already rescued herself and he's just there to help take her home, that sort of seems like the type of thing that he would do, and then say he rescued her, and believe it, not that he would lie. I rescued Bo, by finding her after she's defeated, whatever, and we're going home together. So so he rescued her, I don't know if that's how it's going to go down, or whether he actually will rescue her. But one way or another, he'll find her. He'll, help her find her way home, and all will be good. I would not be surprised, sadly, if Cleo, since she is in league with Vex and apparently is going to be trying to kidnap Bo, don't know that she's going to be making it out of episode 3 alive. wouldn't be surprised if she did not. Hope she does. You know, she's a fun character to have around, and but she's, you know, she's going to be up against it in episode number 3. It would seem. As for Lauren and Crystal again, I believe from what I've read that you know they had a spoiler, and this is a spoiler alert. There was a spoiler that said Lauren's past catches up to her. And of course, that could mean that she gets caught by the Unimens people, or it could just mean that they're on her trail and she has to, you know, she has to run. It could mean any number of things, but it kind of seems like this could be the end for Lauren and Crystal, just because Lauren, one way or another, probably going to be leaving the old restaurant there, you know, and so I don't know how they would continue interacting after this episode. I mean, assuming that Lauren, one way or another, is brought home or to the home area, whether that be in freedom or in chains, as it were, she's presumably going to be back in the home area. I mean, I don't know that. I don't know how it's all going to go down. You figure sooner or later she'll be back home, right? Back in that apartment of hers. And once that happens, whether that is next episode or whatever, you know, how would Crystal be around? You know, that's unfortunate, because you know, Lauren and Crystal, you know, had a good thing going. They do have a good thing going. It's not had, it is have at this time. But anyway, I'm not real optimistic on that continuing the way that it would be nice if it did. But never say never. And you know, and I don't know anything, you know, negative about that. So there's that, and you know, Vex working to get Bo to the Unimens to save his own hide, and that obviously is not going to work. What is going to happen? Is there any relevance to the fact that Kenzi is going out by herself to see Massimo? Is anything going to happen there? Because she's looking to get more stuff, you know, so she can keep seeming to have powers. You know, is there going to be, you know, is there going to be some stuff with her and Massimo? Is there going to be relevance to the fact that she's left Tamsin all alone? Will someone try to kidnap her or something? I hope not. I hope we get more fun stuff. I mean, I would, you know, I would be happy if, you know, I'd be happy to see, you know, maybe Tamsin, you know, rescuing Kenzi from Massimo or something like that. I don't expect that. I don't, you know, you hope for the best, but I don't expect that. But that would be fun. But anyway, so those are some of the things that we're looking forward to happening or potentially happening in the next episode. But as for episode 2, again, it was a lot of fun. Please watch it for yourself. Although there was one other thing that I didn't cover that I do want to mention, and that is, you know, as we know from the premiere, Dyson and Kenzi, you know, were together in the premiere until they remembered Bo. You know, and it's like, oh, you know, Bo, you know, and so they can't be together because of Bo, you know. But so we know that they have very strong feelings for one another. They just can't act on them. And so in this episode, we have Dyson, perhaps for selfish reasons, trying to get Kenzi with Hale. Now again, we know from the first episode that Hale was, you know, constantly trying to get with Kenzi, and Kenzi was having no part of it because she wanted to be with Dyson. So she's not really interested in him like that. But Dyson was trying very hard to get Hale to basically to hit on Kenzi and to try to win her over, and he succeeded in that, in getting him to make the effort, that is. And that sort of ended awkwardly, let's say. And he talked to Kenzi and basically told her, please get with Hale. As those were obviously not his exact words. That's basically what he was saying. Please get with Hale. So he's trying to play matchmaker. And it seems like that the drama that is setting up, or could be setting up, and should be setting up, is pretty darn obvious. That eventually they do get together about the time that Dyson and is finally realizing that there's this, things are ending with Bo. Maybe Dyson will get with Bo and get back together with Bo in episode 3. That's possible. Don't know. It obviously looks like it could go either way. But if he did at some point get back together with Bo, or just almost, whatever, he's obviously trying to. He's trying to anyway. At some point, he's going, you figure he's going to realize, this ain't working. Even if he gets together, because he's going to realize, Bo's feelings for Tamsin are just too strong, and he's, it's going to be over. And once it's over, he's going to want Kenzi back, and she's going to be with Hale, and obviously she's going to want to be with him much more than with Hale, but it's going to be like, I'm with Hale now. You put us together, and he's gonna be like feeling guilty because he doesn't want to take her from his friend, but he wants her back. So there's all sorts of drama just waiting to happen. I don't know if it's gonna happen, but it's obvious. It's staring you right in the face. The potential there that it could and should happen. And then eventually, of course, they give in, and then Hale is very angry, and who knows what he does, that's something crazy or something, the drama, that would be a lot of fun. And again, it's as obvious as the day is long that could and should happen. Whether or not it will, obviously remains to be seen. So that is my review of the second episode. If you haven't seen it, please watch it. If you have seen it, you maybe do like me and watch it again. I watched it a number of times. This episode was a lot of fun. It really was. So many different aspects of it that were fun. Individually and collectively, it was a fun episode. One can only hope that they could keep up the level of fun and dare to dream. Just keep getting more and more fun as the season goes on, and it could actually very easily could, because as you get Bo and Tamsin back, and their interactions, I mean, it could get a lot more fun, even though it's already been a lot of fun. There's still that much room for improvement, and not that there's. Again, it's been great, but it can be a lot greater. It's been a very pleasant surprise just how good it's been in the early going, with, given how little that we've gotten in the way of Bo, and nothing at all in terms of the adult, regular Tamsin. So great episode. 2 thumbs up. To both episodes so far this season. Here's hoping that they keep up the great stuff. And so to all the fans out there, thank you for watching. Tune in next time. Please like and subscribe. And feel free to leave comments, questions, whatever. You know the drill. So again, thanks for watching, and have a great day.